time Transformer reviews. I know it's been a little while since I've done a review. I've been pretty busy with life. I have, like I said, a 1-year-old daughter. Today I'm going to be taking a look at movie masterpiece Jazz. I don't usually pick up any of the movie figures. I end up getting this guy for a really good price, about 30 bucks. So if I decided to pick them up, I've always kind of liked the characters. I like that they went with a Pontiac Stolzis instead of a Porsche, because they couldn't get the Porsche because of Volkswagen, and they didn't know if the movies were actually going to do well, so they couldn't get other licenses. But I think that they picked a pretty decent alternative for his alt mode. His character model is similar to the G1 enough in the movie. That's where he has a car front, and he has the ears and the visor, all which is very nicely represented in this figure. Now, he is a little small for a masterpiece, but he's fairly decent and really detailed. He is a decent figure. He's really difficult to transform. He has a lot of tiny little moving parts. There's a lot of detail on it. Pretty decent articulation. Even has a little die cast. For something being this small, he actually has a die cast that gives him a little bit of heft. Now, I don't normally collect movie figures. I have on and off. I do have the Studio Series Jazz, which I'll be comparing him to. And I have a few of the Optimus Primes, because I love Optimus Prime. And a couple Megatrons for the same reason. So, without any further ado, let's get to the review. Alright, so he comes in a fairly standard masterpiece packaging. He has some pretty nice rendered images on the cover here. The Blue Blast, like most all even the Generation 1 boxes. On the side, he's got some more images of Jazz. This is Autobot Jazz up here at the top. The back shows him doing a pose from the movie and says, "Pose shown requires additional support," which they do not give you in the package. So he does come with a Sam Witwicky, which is actually, I think he's off-scaled. Of course, he can turn to the car. Here is him depicted with Megatron having been ripped in half with his spine hanging out. He also has articulated fingers, which is displayed here on the back, which is actually one of the coolest things about him, and a sliding visor, which is again depicted here. On the top says Transformers Masterpiece Movie Series. The bottom has almost nothing of any interest, and there's the side. Inside the box, you get a small-ish Sam Witwicky running with the cube. Here is his spine accessory. Now this attaches to him to the top part of Jazz. And his weapon, which folds out like this and slides over his hand. And of course, the figure comes packaged in car mode. And the instructions, which instead of a book becomes one fairly large page on both sides. Now here is his car mode. Let me get the camera a little on there. You see it just a little better. So it has beautiful silver paint. The rims are painted silver around the edges. Tail lights, translucent plastic there. No license plate detail there. The Pontiac logo. Headlights, done clear plastic. Windows. The mirrors are actually rubber, so they're kind of could be like a hard rubber, so you could actually bend them, which is good because you would snap off during transformation for sure. The other side does show a lot of robot bits, including a license plate. But as I said, he is fairly small. So let me get the Human Alliance to show you how they match up. And there he is with Human Alliance Jazz. Let's get these moved up just a little closer. So as you can see, he's a much lighter shade of silver than Human Alliance Jazz. He is smaller, does not have blue windows. He has clear windows. A lot of the detail remains the same. He does still same thing with the license plate. These are painted here, and these are actually clear. Painted here, not painted here. You see the lines are different with the cuts, but they're still very similar. Very, very similar cuts. Of course, these have the opening doors, like it had to have the Human Alliance figure, Human Alliance Sam go in there. And these doors do not open. So that's definitely a difference. Now, if you look at the Sam that he comes with, he feels a little big for that car. A little small for that one and a little big for that one. Just my opinion. Maybe you guys could let me know. I've never actually seen one of these in person, so I'm not really sure. So, this guy, for transformation, I might have to speed up the transformation a little bit because this transformation is really involved. And I'm going to go through it rather quickly. So, transformation. All right, and there he is, all transformed into robot mode. He is very fiddly to get into this mode. Not all the little panels actually tab. The backpack, however, does tab in really, really, really well, which is very nice. It's something that I am appreciative of. His head sculpt is pretty good. It's really, really movie accurate. And you could also, it's kind of hard to do. It's kind of a tight joint there. Lift up the visor, flip it in, and it shows his eyes under it. You can have his full face showing if you wish. Like, he has joints everywhere. His fingers are fully articulated. He has 4 fingers that each have joints, so he can make poses. He has wrist articulation down and up, no swivel. But he has just a ton of detail packed into this little guy. Do a quick turnaround. I'll get into... Oh, sorry, my video cut out there. So after the turnaround, there's one thing I noticed I forgot to do was open this little piece here. So let's go over the articulation on this guy. His head can move up pretty good and far. He has a little joint in there. His head could actually move up really far. He moves a little down. Is like you can see it move. It's really nice. His head can move a little further if you break the mold, but that's what it's meant to. But it's a pretty decent range. Of course, it's 360. It's on a ball joint. His shoulders could do a 360. Elbows have a single hinge joint that could go about that far. You go out like this. He has a very strange joint, so it's not straight that he goes out. It's sort of like at an angle. That way on both. He does have waist articulation, which is great for being able to become a part at the waist. His knees are double jointed, so they could go all the way back like that. His hips, now his hips sort of come out like that. They are a little tilted. He does have thigh swivel all the way around. He has a little bit of ankle tilt and back and forth. He does not have wrist swivel, but he has a little bit of wrist movement here. All his fingers are articulated, which is very, very nice. And they have actual pins in them. See, come on, camera, focus. Camera won't focus on it, but they actually have little pins in there. If you can kind of see it there. Metal pins. So it's really nice. It's a decent figure. These are actually all right, and that was my take on movie masterpiece Jazz. He is a really decent figure. If you're into the movie line, I highly suggest picking him up, especially if you're collecting the masterpiece movie line. He's got some great gimmicks. The gimmick where he split him apart is exceptionally well done. It's you wouldn't even know it's there if you didn't look at it or didn't already knew that it has that feature. So it's really good. It will display well. Mine, some of the joints are a bit loose on it, and I've heard from some other people that QC in theirs is actually pretty great. So maybe mine is just bunk as far as that's concerned. I know that with repeated transformations, he will have a bunch of loose parts. So I don't think he's one to transform back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. However, he's a decent size. He fits in well with the other ones, and he looks really nice. So I think you should pick him up if you're into this line. So anyway, please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you very soon with a review of Refractor or Reflector.